Hello, everybody. Welcome. How is everybody doing today? I'm going to give it a couple seconds for more people to join in. I have Lydia Fiedler with us today from the creative team. Yay. She's going to be here talking through her cards. We're going to introduce the My Monthly Hero kit and all the add-ons for August. I almost forgot what month we're in. We're in a great month because it is the birthday month of both Lydia and myself. And today, the owners of Hero Arts, Aaron, it's his birthday today. So happy birthday to Aaron.
Happy birthday, Aaron.
Hi, everybody joining. I see more people coming in. Might have to repeat that little announcement after so everybody can wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, guys, thanks for being here today. I see Tammy saying hi from Hero Arts. She is in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'll give it another second. Why not? Hi, everybody. Hi, Neva. Hi, Lori. Hi, Ms. Peach. You sound like you're from Georgia, Ms. Peach. Probably not. That's where I am. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mary Lou. Nice to see you.
I think Mary Lou just birthday today, too.
Did you
Happy
see
birthday, Cindy.
Oh, yesterday. No, today. Why did I see yesterday? I don't know what I just saw. Hello. Happy birthday to Cindy. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I think Mary Lou, I think it was Mary Lou who commented on my Instagram that she just took a trip very similar to this kit. And so she was excited about that.
Oh.
And my sister's out in Roswell. She went to Roswell to see all the aliens and she's driving across Texas and everywhere. And so she likes this kit a lot too.
Oh, my sister's in New Mexico too. Our sisters are together they left us for our birthdays.
That's funny. Yeah, my sister's birthday is this coming Saturday. So there's a lot of August birthdays. So
yeah,
very cool.
Lots of Virgos and Leos.
All right. So now that we have more people here, I'm going to say again, hi, I'm Libby from Hero Arts, and I have with me today Lydia Fiedler, who's on our creative team. She's joining us from Texas, the great state of Texas, and I'm so excited to have her here. She always makes fantastic cards every release, and so she's going to talk through her cards today as we go through the kit. We are introducing our August My Monthly Hero kit and the add-ons, and Tammy just put in the comments for Hero Arts. We're going to give away a gift card during this live. So make sure that you're leaving comments along the way because that's how we know you're here and how we pick a name at the end. So thank you for being here. Hello, Rosie. Hi, Jen from the global team. Nice to see you here. Yes, it was Mary Lou. I'm glad I remembered that correctly. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to bring in my desktop here and then I will make that the main view and Lydia and I will talk through everything. So here we go. And I'm going to make this bigger. So the layout. It's a little bit dirty, my desktop. Hope you guys don't mind. Oh, hi, Mindy. Mindy from the creative team is here. Nice to see her as well. All right. So for our main kit this month, we have some really awesome layering stencils. And so they create a scene. And sorry for my light. I'm trying to keep it off to the side. But they create this really beautiful scene of like the deserty looking mountains and cactus, especially if you're in Arizona, you'll recognize those saguaro cactus with the arms, but we can pretend they're anywhere. And it's just 4 stencils that are really easy to layer together. They have the alignment marks in the corner to make them super easy to line up. And I will show in just a second how I use these stencils, just one way. There's many ways to do it, but how I like to do it and make it really easy. There's also a little 3x4 stamp set in the kit that has a bunch of fun messages to go with this scenery that we're creating with the stencils. There's adventure awaits, have a safe journey, wishing you all the best, be wild and free, which is the one I keep putting on cards because I just love it. Be wild and free. So good. Good luck on your journey. I miss you. I believe in you. Best wishes. Wish you were here. Bon voyage. Enjoy the trip. And you are my oasis. So there's kind of a lot of different things in here. There's stuff for somebody going on a trip. But you can definitely use some of these other messages just for support or, I miss you. I believe in you is great for encouragement, just the best wishes. So all kinds of messages in this, not just for people going on a trip. If you don't send cards to people going on trips very often, but it's also great for doing your own documenting. If you're a scrapbooker or you like to do art journaling or a little traveler's notebook when you do go on a road trip out in the desert Southwest, I think this is awesome for that. And I might have to revisit some past trips and make some myself with my pictures and add all this in. There's also some frame cuts that cut out the images that you stencil. So you can just do the stenciling on a 1-layer card, but if you want to, you can do it again on another one and cut out the cactus And then also the little border of the mountains to create a layered scene if you want to do it that way as well. I think I hear Lydia's kitty.
Yes, my apologies. She
Oh,
loves all lives.
I love kitties, so I love to say hello to your kitty on the live. All right. Also in this kit are 5 sheets of our really nice, heavy Luxe watercolor paper. And I'll tell you in a minute why we added watercolor paper in this particular kit. And then, oops, trying to stuff all this under. We also have this really fun PearlEx powder. So PearlEx has been around a long time. Maybe you've used it, maybe you haven't. But it's this really beautiful shimmery powder that can just add a little bit of fun detail to your card. And I am going to show you how to do that as well. So, oh, and the other thing, there's so much in this kit. I keep forgetting everything. So the other thing in this kit are the ink cubes. So I don't have the ink cubes in front of me. I have the full-size pads, but we included caramel, sand, and you can see mine are a little messy because I'm a messy inker, pine, and tangerine. So those are the 4 colors of ink that come in this cube as well, in the form of cubes. These are my full-size pads, but there are cubes in the kit. All right. So I'm going to show a card that I made with this kit. And this is using just the colors in the kit. Other than the pumpkin cardstock I layered it on top of and the black ink I used for my message. Otherwise, this is all things from the kit. So I use those colors that I just showed to layer up the stencils. The green to get 2 colors of green, since there's only 1 green in here. I just go lightly with the green first, and then I go in with the second one and make it a little heavier. I use the orange and the tangerine and the sun. You could also make a night scene and make that a moon. It doesn't have to be during the day, but I don't know if it's going to show on this, but I also use that. Oh, there we go. See that PearlEx on the mountains? So I'm just going to show you real quick with just the 2 colors of ink and then the PearlEx, how I did that. Because I think some people are wanting to know how it's done. All right. So when I do layering stencils, one of my favorite ways to do it, they have these guides on them for lining them up, which makes it really easy, but it's big. So if you want to just be working on a little A2 size card panel and you don't want to have to use a whole big piece of paper and maybe waste some paper, I just take a piece of scrap paper, like computer paper or just something, a scrap piece. And I put that down on my paper. I put a panel that I'm working with on my paper with just a little bit of removable tape. This will just rub right off when I'm done, or I can just use it when I'm gluing it onto another layer. All right. And then I put my first layer down, which in this case, they are numbered on them. Well, lettered, I guess I should say. So it has what kit it's from, which is really nice, right? I don't think we've done that before. And it also has A, B, C, D to make it easy to tell the order, although you can do them in whatever order you like. All right. So I'm just kind of lining that up on my, over my cardstock that I put down. And now this layer I'm going to put on with some tape. So there's many ways to use stencils. This is just one way that I like to do it. You could use some pixie spray, which is a removable or somewhat removable. Yeah, it's removable. A temporary adhesive that can hold your stencils down. You could stencil or you could tape your card panel right to your stencil. But again, I'm doing it this way just so I can use those little registration marks. And so for this base layer, I'm going to start with the sand. And I'm not going to do this whole panel because I don't want to keep you here forever. Oopsie, I hope I have my brushes. 1 second here. Oh, yeah, there it is. I'm just going to do this top portion so I can show you how I put on the PearlEx. All right, so I have one of my Hero Arts blending brushes here. And I'm just going to go right in this area here, blending it on lightly. And again, this is the sand ink, and you'll have a cube of it in your kit. And I have a whole bunch more samples I'm going to go through if you just stick with me. I just wanted to show you how I use these elements in the kit. Before we do that, I have samples from Daniel and from Debbie Adams and of course from Lydia, who is here to talk through her samples, which is really great. Okay, so now I want to just make sure that I get some ink on that corner so that I have it to line up again. And I could have gone a lot heavier with the ink and kept going, you know, to add more color to it, but I'm just trying not to be here forever with you guys. So I'm just kind of doing it light to give you the idea. All right, so now that I have that done, I lost my lid. Oh, it's right in front of me. Yes, Mindy just made a good point. She also did this exact same demo on the video. So if you can rewatch this on replay, but you can also go to the video that we shared on our blog post yesterday at launch, and it's on our YouTube channel, which is our kit overview. And that will show you how to do the exact same thing I'm doing here. All right, so there's that first layer. And if I was doing, I probably would have done all the stenciling on there at once, but I can always go back to it since it does have those registration marks. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use those little marks to line up my next stencil. And as you can see, having it on that little scrap piece of paper just makes it easy to use that as my guide. All right. And now for this layer with these little, whatever you want to call them. What would those be, Lydia? Shadows or whatever you want to call it on the mountain.
Yeah, they could be shadows or highlights. I actually did it both ways.
There you go. So to do that, I'm going to start by putting some of the caramel ink down. And I want this ink to be somewhat juicy on here to give the PearlEx something to stick to. All right, that's good enough for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my PearlEx with a dry brush. This is just a brush that I've kind of ruined in the past and had forever. But I have my little thing of PearlEx here. I'm going to kind of go like this, I think, to get some down in the lid. You could also just dump it out on a craft mat or whatever you're using. But I find there's enough right there in the lid to pick a little bit up. And then I'm just going to brush that on through my stencil. And I just accidentally went under it on that one, so don't do what I just did. Now, the thing about this PearlEx is it doesn't have a binding agent in it. So it is not going to necessarily stay stuck to your paper. Like it could rub off. And so what I do when I get this all done is I actually, oops, I meant to bring it over here. It's on my other desk. Maybe I'll go grab it in a second. But I have just this little can of hairspray that I keep in my craft room, like a travel size one. And I just give it a quick little spritz when I'm done, and that seals it in place. You could also use any kind of sealant that you can find, in the craft section at the store. There's spray sealants that you could use, anything to kind of keep that in place. You could also use our watermark ink, our watermark and embossing ink to do with this kind of PearlEx. You can try, I have a sample of the map that we had in our June release that I did with the same powder and with the embossing ink on navy cardstock. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I didn't really wipe off the excess on that. But I want to just hold this up and show you how pretty that is. See if it's showing the shimmer.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? So I would just give that a little spritz. Let's see, will pastel sealant work? I would think so, Neva. I would think that would be the same kind of thing to put it in place. Yes, it makes it shiny. So did you guys all see that beautiful shine that it makes? I was a little messy with it because I'm on a live, but if I was taking my time in my craft room, it wouldn't be quite so messy. So that is one thing you can do with it. This is not the watercolor paper. This is just regular cardstock, but I just also wanted to show you another thing you can do with it is take a little bit of it out onto a block. And then I like to take a little water brush or, a cup of water and a paintbrush, and you can wet it that way as well and paint it on. So that's another way you can use it. I used it that way right through my stencil. You can actually just put the stencil down. This isn't going to be a great demo because I don't have the layers done, but if you're just careful about it, you can put it through the stencil that way as well. And it gives it kind of a watercolory look. See that? So can you see how pretty that is? And again, I would seal it. I found the one that I did with the water stayed on a little bit better than the one I just dry brushed on. So, you might not have to seal this as much as the one with the dry brush, but either way, I would seal it and make sure that it's not going to leave your gorgeous card that you create with it. So that's a couple ways to use the PearlEx. If you Google PearlEx, you can find lots of other ideas as well. It's been around for a while, so people have done great demos with it, but it's a fun little element that maybe you haven't tried in a while or never tried, and it could just be something fun to add to your cards. So I hope you guys have fun with it. And yeah, it's not something that we sell separately, but we just have this bronze in the kit this time. So it's really pretty stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch gears now and show Lydia's card that she did with the kit. And she was pretty in pink with this card. So let's talk about this one, Lydia.
Okay, so there is a happy accident on this card. I had actually done one of the other cards that you're going to see prior to this, and I thought I had cleaned my stencil, and I didn't. And so when I went to, I used Ultra Pink and Orchid, which are fantastic, like very vibrant pink and purple. Ooh. And so I was sort of envisioning this bright scene, but what happened was there was still a little bit of tangerine on my stencil when I went to go put this down, and it gave it like this rich, like deserty feel up there in the rock formations, and I ended up loving it. I was like, see, the universe is telling me don't clean your stencils.
That's something Lydia and I have discussed often. Lydia gets her stencils quite dirty.
I do. And I did this month too, because you'll see what I did with them in a little bit. But I loved the warm tone of it. And my point in saying all this is feel free to blend multiple colors through these stencils, because you're going to get like so much more warmth and beauty out of a couple different ink colors than if you just use single ink colors. Because I think we tend to be like, well, this has two parts, so I'm going to use two ink colors. But you can definitely layer all the dye inks and get some of these beautiful different tones, different from what you have in your ink collection.
That's great. And I love how earthy this looks. That's such a great tip.
Yeah, just beautiful.
So I'm seeing some other advice for PearlEx in the comments. Somebody said you can splatter it on. That's a fabulous idea. The way I had it wet, you could do that to flick. Somebody mentioned mixing it in with paste. I think Essie mentioned that. We did find, I tried mixing it with our hero paste, and it didn't really give the look I was hoping for. It wasn't shimmery anymore. It was just kind of a dull looking paste. So try it with what you have, and maybe it'll work out. Just use a little bit of it and see, but that may or may not work. You could also mix it with some clear embossing powder was another idea I saw to make a little shimmery embossing powder. I didn't try that with this particular one, but I did see that idea out there. So that's another idea of what you could do.
And maybe the liquid watercolors is what I was thinking when you were talking.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing to try. Again, we haven't tried that, but that's the fun thing about being in your craft room, right? Is to try the things and experiment and see what you find. So yeah, I think you'll find some really fun things to do with this PearlEx. Okay, so that was Lydia's awesome card. I'll show you another one that I made. So I made the one that was just straight up with the colors in the kit. Oh, and I went to my ink collection, and I went with the purples because many of you know I love my purples. So this one is just kind of crazy. It's so purple and so pretty. I used our Sparkle Hero Paste on the moon, which I think it's more of a moon in this case. And that it looks purple because it's on that purple background. So you can kind of see through the glitter paste for the color that's behind it. And then I also did it here on these cacti, which were, I'm trying to remember because I was just like creating up a storm. I think I had ink blended on the cardstock, and then went over that with the stencil with the glitter paste. And then this is one of our new colors of cardstock, which I absolutely love. I'm drawing a blank which one this is called. Is this one called? Oh gosh, why is my brain escaping me on the purples? But it's one of the new purple cardstocks, and I love it. And then I also used our pearl paste on those highlights or shadows or whatever we're calling them on the scene. And then I had some acrylic spray that's not Hero Arts, a white spray that I used as a flicking thing onto the background.
How did you block out the mountains when you sprayed that?
I have it over at my desk. Should have brought that over too. I have a roll of masking tape that's kind of big. And so I stenciled it right onto there and created a mask with it. So Yep.
I love it.
And then I can keep that mask and use it over and over again.
Mindy says y'all should name the new worlds that y'all created, like the new planets.
Yeah. Somebody said that this one looks like Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yes.
but I don't watch that movie, so I don't really know, but I love the idea of it.
Oh my gosh, homework for Libby.
Yeah. Tammy, can you tell me what this purple is? Because I can't believe my brain is just not working at the moment. But if you see that and could mention it, that'd be awesome. And then I'll say it. And here is one from Debbie. Debbie Adams, using, I think, the colors in the kit. And then she added a little bit of blue up there at the top for the sky. Amethyst, I think, is probably right. I don't know why my brain couldn't come up with the word amethyst. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy and Mindy. Gosh, you would think I would know my purples, for goodness sake. But anyway, and so you can see here that Debbie used the little die to cut out the mountains and layer them up a little bit. So really pretty, but she didn't use any of the cacti. She could have done that as well. She used the Be Wild and Free, which I love. And then let's see, another one from Debbie. I love this.
Oh.
So those are different strips of paper. So she, I think, probably ink blended a bunch of strips of paper and then kind of glued them together and then used that edge, just the die. She didn't use the stencils at all and just die cut that. And then she also, these are all die cuts. So these are just the die cuts on black paper. And then she used a white gel pen to kind of put the accents in there herself rather than using the stencils. Sorry, my brain is not working very well today. And I also wanted to show you, she sent me a little guide. Like you can see she did it in the background here, but this is all the messages in the kit all stamped out at once. And so that's really fun. You could do that with your set to have on hand so that you know what's in the set, but also it makes a really great little background element. So really cool. Cute. All right. Another one from Debbie. Again, she just used the die cut to make her background scene. And then she did the, she probably stenciled those cacti and then cut them out. Kind of did some stenciling, selective stenciling, I think is what I'm trying to say. And these are just little elements that she drew in there, which I think is cute. It looks very Southwest with those little flourishes and stuff. And then I love how this one, she just used the cacti, the cactus part of the stencil to create a background on her card front. So just different ways that you can use those stencils. You don't always have to create that scene. But I will mention now that we did have a blog hop on Monday and we had the countdown over the weekend and our team just knocked it out of the park. Like seriously, so many great color combinations and different things to do with the stencils. So if you haven't checked either of those things out, I highly recommend you do. There were ideas on our Hero Arts blog on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then again, yesterday we had our whole blog hop with our creative team and some outside artists. And you can hop along up until Sunday and do the, if you comment along the way, you could possibly be our winner. So definitely check all that out for ideas and just to try to win a gift card. And then she again used some of the messages. Really fun. And then this one is Debbie again. And so she used that PearlEx. You can see that amazing shimmer. So she just did that base stencil and just went to town with the PearlEx. And here is what she did, which I thought was so creative. She put her stencil down with some pixie spray or tape or whatever, but then she sprayed this pixie spray right through her stencil. So this is an adhesive. So it's a light tack adhesive. She sprayed that through her stencil onto her cardstock. And then when she put her PearlEx down, it stuck to all that pixie spray. And so this isn't coming off, well, maybe a teeny bit, but not much, but you could always seal it as well. But that spray worked as something to hold the pixie spray, to hold the PearlEx in place. So any kind of spray adhesive could work like that. Another fun idea for using the PearlEx. I'm sorry, guys, my brain, I cannot speak today.
And she flipped it. So she was doing double duty because the pixie spray is now on the back of her stencil and the image is reversed.
Oh, that's so smart. So she didn't have it on like the wrong side where she did not want it. That's a good thing to point out. So see that this is how I was using that stencil. And this is technically the up side of it. But she turned that whole thing over so that when she was spraying through, she was still getting the pixie spray on the back of her stencil. I didn't even think about that. That is so smart. Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with pixie spray, this is not something Hero Arts carries. This is from ThermoWeb, I believe. And it's just a light tack that you can put on the back of all your stencils if you want to hold them down while you're stenciling. But Debbie did it like that. But a lot of other people on our team as well flipped the whole stencils to create like, you know, different looks. So you could layer them together and have the mountains going 2 different ways. So very, very clever.
And how neat to do it on black. She did amazing things with pitch black cardstock this time.
Yeah, which we are hoping that will be back in stock soon. Everybody is missing our pitch black, but
it's the best.
And she used her decal scissors, which I just love. I've had decal scissors for roughly 500 years, and I love that she's making them cool again.
Next all right, so brads.
Yeah, Lydia's on a personal crusade to make brads a very popular thing again. All right, let's move on to some cards from Daniel. Hopefully he's still here in the comments. He made some gorgeous cards this month as well. And one thing I love on this card is how he drew these little shadows by his cacti. So that sun, that bright red sun up there is casting some big shadows with those cacti. Yeah, and he used, what did you use on there? I think he used black hero paste. Let's see if he didn't put on the back. Black hero wax, I mean, is that what you used on the details of your cactus? Because it is a black shiny material, so I'm guessing that might be what he used. Very pretty. Black hero wax, I guessed correctly. Then I love this night scene that he created here. Let's see, Daniel. Acrylic paint. So he used acrylic paint through the stencil on this one. Very, very cool.
That one's mine.
Oh, Lydia. So sorry. That's funny because as I was saying it, I was going through my brain. I remember you commenting acrylic paint, and I was like, well, that was random. And then you're like, I was talking about the card. Anyway, so tell us about this card, Lydia. It's beautiful.
So the concept behind this card was we don't think of layering stencils with black cardstock. And I love black cardstock. I think it's such an important design element. And so I thought, well, there are a couple different ways that you can use black cardstock with stencils, but it's not everybody's go-to. So I thought that I would layer these with acrylic paint to show you kind of how luminous that can be on black cardstock for a nighttime scene. So the tips, and I do have a video, this is my kit video card, so you can go watch this. But my quick tips on this is use a very finely textured sponge. I used a cosmetic sponge to apply the paint. Use a fast drying paint and apply very, very thin layers. So you'll see all that in the video, but that way you can use a layering stencil just as quickly as you would with ink because the paint is dry almost immediately. And there's nothing more magical than the desert at night. I am a desert rat at heart, and the desert really comes to life at night. And so I wanted to sort of make that a tribute in my video card this month.
I love it. And I'm sorry that it got stuck in my Daniel pile somehow. So I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. We're basically the same person.
Exactly. So I can't keep you two apart. I mean, really. Neva's asking, do we need gesso? You don't need gesso for that,
You
right?
do not need gesso. No, it adheres beautifully to the surface of just regular cardstock. So think about your other darker colors that you can use layering stencils with. And what's interesting is it fills in the negative space of this stencil with black. So you can sort of design with that. You could use our indigo. You could use another color that you wanted in the background with a bunch of different acrylic paint. So
you can see all the spaces that were left behind with the black. So that would be your colored cardstock as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, Karen's from New Mexico. Yep, you definitely need this kit.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
New Mexico is my favorite.
All right, now we're back to truly Daniel's cards. I double checked. I love this craft look for this card. How pretty is that? I'm not sure if he used maybe the sand ink in the kit is my guess. If you want to chime in again, Daniel, I think that might be what he did. And then some black ink. And then again, he used probably hero wax here in the silver, maybe on his cacti or the, not silver. We don't have silver, white, I think. All right. Sand ink and hero wax. I think you're being hero again, but thank you for telling me, Daniel. Sand ink and hero wax. White hero wax. All right. I love the blues on this one. I'm surprised this is Daniel and not my understanding. But it's so pretty. I just love the blue on blue. He used the dye again to cut it out so that we have that layer look on it. And I love the black for the cacti. Just really, really pretty. And he used something to make some splatters here as well. And again, all these cards that I'm showing from Daniel, they're on his blog from the hop yesterday. And then Lydia mentioned that her beautiful acrylic paint one is on her blog. So definitely check that whole blog hub out for so many great ideas. And then here's another one from Daniel.
Oh.
And just, I love this little grouping he made. You know, again, you don't have to use the whole stencil all at once. He just picked out those little cacti. He added the gold wax on that and then stenciled it in for the moon as well, or the sun, I guess, in this case. This looks like our new pine cardstock, which I love to see. It looks so pretty. Yeah, simplicity is nice. I agree. All right, so that is everything from the main kit. So I'll just go ahead and back up again and just remind you what all comes in the kit, although I seem to have misplaced it. So we have the watercolor cardstock, which you can certainly ink blend on. When I did that first card that I showed of mine, this is on the watercolor cardstock, even though I ink blended. And I love the rough feel of it. And I went ahead and like distressed the edges just because this thick watercolor paper is it just calls to me that I have to distress the edges a little bit. Yes, you can definitely still order this kit. It's on heroarts.com. And there are a few left. So if you love it, I would run over there and grab it. And it's 4 layering stencils. Here's my other one that I used the PearlEx on to make that scene. And then a little message set, 3x4 message set with all the great messages that we're seeing on these cards. It has the PearlEx powder. And then it also has 4 ink cubes, which these are my full size, but they are cubes in the kit in the colors of caramel and sand and pine and tangerine. So really a lot of fun things in this kit. It's a super great value for $34.99. I think it's $70 some worth of stuff. Oh, and the frame cuts, I forgot to even mention, oops, which we saw some of the artists, use these to cut out the elements to use on their cards. So really a fun kit. And I love the Desert Southwest. So this just called to me right away. Loved it so much. So the main kit is only available on heroarts.com. But now I'm going to show what we call the add-ons, which are the other products we release at the same time that kind of go with the theme of the release. And this month's theme was, adventure awaits, or get on the road, or, go on an adventure. So here are some products that go with that. And these ones are available at your other retailers where you might find Hero Art. So any independent stores or some of your favorite online stamp stores will have these as well. So you can check with them, or you can find them on heroarts.com. And we do sell all the add-ons together as a bundle as well. So if you are just like loving everything, you can do the Get Them All bundle while they last. Those don't stick around forever either. All of these add-ons, if you see it as sold out on the website, they will come back in stock. So you can do notify me and get notified when they come back. But the main kit itself is limited time only. So once it's sold out, it's gone forever. All right. And Tammy mentioned there is a store locator on our website. So that's a great way to find a local store by you if you're lucky enough to have one, or find any stores that carry Hero Arts. All right. So without any further ado, this is the Looking Glass Forest and Mountains. So many of you know we've had a whole line of looking glass, which create this cute little layered scene on your card. And I love this one. It has the mountains and the river and the trees. Really, really fun. And here is a card that Debbie created with it. You can see that she colored those little elements really pretty. You could also just do them in different colors of cardstock and put them on there. We do, oh, no, never mind. I'm like, does that open? You never know with Debbie's card. Sometimes they open up and do fun things. She did our sunburst stencil on the background, which is really pretty. So I love how that looks. I think Nicole Spohr in our hop this time used this one, and she also used these. Next one I'll show, which is the Luggage Fancy Dies. And she did awesome things with them as well. And so I love this. So it has all these fun pieces of luggage, some little luggage tags, and this globe, which I love. I love that just on its own. I'm going to use that a lot, I think, on different things. But really fun. You can make a stack of luggage. You could use just individual ones, whatever is calling your name. And here is one from Debbie with her luggage, and you can see that cute little tag and the globe that I love. And then she used on the background of this one a really fun background stamp, which is one of our 6x6 bold prints, and it's called Road Signs. So you can kind of see on there. So there's speed limit 55, Interstate 1, Route 66, one-way stop, all kinds of different road signs. Another Route 66. There's a lot of Route 66 because Route 66 goes across the country and it actually ends in Santa Monica, California. I was just there at the end point. At the end of June, we went to California. So since Hero Arts is in California, they Highway 1 and Route 66 are kind of California, a nod to California, but a lot of this is across the whole country as well. So anyway, love it. Really cool. Yeah, not many speed limits 55 these days on the highways, huh? Okay. Moving on. Okay, this one, guys, I love so much. It's called On the Road Window Fancy Die. So I love it because you can put all kinds of scenes in that window. They can be looking at so many things through that window. But it doesn't have to be this. It's not this, but it reminds me of Thelma and Louise. Like that just has such a Thelma and Louise vibe if you're, of a certain age and can remember that movie, which was a classic. But so let's talk about the awesome card that Lydia created with this. So good.
I love it so much.
Oh, you have window glass in there.
Yeah, I did. I put a sheet of Hero Arts acetate in there for their final drive. And this was step 2 of that happy accident where the orange was still on the stencil. I liked it so much I did it again. And then I do this a lot. This is my tip for coming up with ideas. I just did a Google image search for Thelma and Louise, and she had this adorable scarf that was, had these little look like roses to me on it. So I just used alcohol markers and I colored her scarf. I colored both of their hair the way it looked in the movie. I left a little bit of white on the side of their face where like the sun was coming in, and I barely ink blended the rear view mirror a little bit so you could sort of see those same desert colors that they would be seeing in their rear view as they went off into eternity with each other. I love this die. I love all fancy dies, but this one really, it's so much fun.
So you could color this to be a man and a woman. It doesn't have to be Thelma and Louise. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but these details that Lydia just went over, her attention to detail is so great. Just putting that color in the rearview mirror, I would not have thought of that. That is so brilliant. And I love the acetate for the window and her coloring. So her coloring is fabulous. I love how it comes together, but if you just look at it, it's not complicated to do that hair, but it looks so good. And leaving a little bit of white on the on their front of their faces is just so brilliant. I love that as well. And I love that she put our kit stencils through the window. So really cool, really awesome.
Yeah, and I don't pretend to be a marker expert at all. I think that simple coloring is best, and this is a good example of it.
Well, it's perfect. I love it. I have another card from Debbie in a minute using the same die, but I'll show you that once we get to the other stamp set that she used in her window. So first I'm going to show you another nod to road signs. This one is called Roadside Messages. And it's the style of kind of classic signs, but it's not speed limits and stuff. This one is happy birthday. The journey is better with you. Hello. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and congrats. So really fun retro style signs with these useful messages that you can use on all kinds of cards. And it does come, you can either buy the clear set on its own, or you can buy it as a bundle with the matching dies right inside. And let's see, here's a card where, this is you, Lydia. Actually, I'll let you talk about it.
It is. So I love the bold print. I spent my entire childhood like in a car with no air conditioning driving across the United States. And so this is very nostalgic for me. So what I decided to do, because the McDonald's of the time in the late 1900s when I grew up was Howard Johnson's. And so this is the little sign from the other add-on. I stamped 3 times. I stamped it in black once, I stamped it in summer sky once, and I stamped it in tangerine once. And then I cut them apart and pieced them together to make a sign that reminded me of that beautiful Howard Johnson's turquoise and orange color scheme from my childhood. And then I used the circle infinity dies with our black glitter paper, which is one of my favorite things in the catalog, to sort of set that apart from that busy background that I just love.
Very cool. I didn't even realize that was all pieced together until you said it. I'm like, oh, wow. All these details. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Very fun. So yeah, you could do that with some of these other ones as well. And here's a card that Debbie made with these same signs. She just repeated the congrats. And she was kind of inspired by the same colors as you, I think.
Yeah.
And I love how, look right there. That is this die that cuts out, it cuts out the hello message, but she just used that die to create this fun little background element. And then she used some circles, just like Lydia, who has worn out her first set of circle infinity dies. But I just love this. So she was, I don't know if Debbie was inspired by Howard Johnson's or not, but she still had the same orange and teal. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's that retro 60s color scheme that just lives forever. It's so cute.
Yep. Okay. Now we have a really nice Heroscape, which is called Winding Road. Sorry for my glare. Trying to get it out of the glare. There we go. How's that? So this is awesome because you can have the road winding off into the trees and you can layer them together. It has 2 layers for the trees, so you can put some detail in it. It has a deer and a little car with a bike on top and some butterflies and birds that you can accent your scene with. And then the messages are, let's go somewhere, enjoy the journey, what an adventure, see you soon, happy birthday, and you're on your way, which I really love. Like if you're somebody who's retiring or going off to college or different things, you could use you're on your way with this fun road scene. And then it does have some dies to cut out the row of trees and then also the little deer and the car. So let's see. And on the back with this, it shows how you can layer it together. It's not super complicated, but there is a little idea there for you. And again, this one you can buy just the stamp set if you want to, or you can buy it as a bundle with the matching dies. We no longer carry our matching dies, our frame cuts separately, starting with this release. That's a big change for us. You can't just buy the dies. So if you don't want to, if you think you're going to buy the stamps now and come back later and buy just the dies, we're not going to have those available any longer. So just a heads up on that. And then there's a little scene up there as well. And then this card from Lydia using the road, and look what she did. So cool. What'd you do here?
So we drive to New Mexico quite a bit. It's a long trip. So this is my view for many, many hours, several times a year. And so what I did was I took that awesome highway. And now I want you to think about this with like all other Hero Art scenic stencils and stamps. And I stamped it in charcoal, and then I stamped it on masking paper, cut it out, masked the road, and then I did the stenciling from the kit around it to build that scene around that highway. But if you think about just that process and you think about all of our Heroscape stamps, think about where you can put this road because it has so many possibilities. But this is basically my view for 11 hours when I'm driving to Santa Fe a couple times a year.
So that's real life for you.
Yeah, real life.
Somebody asked, let's see, Carol asked if you can ink the mountains without the cactus. Unfortunately, you can't. They're kind of built into the stencils in the main kit. So you could go back over it with a marker or something to fill in that area. But as far as just inking it up, you can see how, like on this one, the cactus go right up into the mountains. So,
but you can, Libby. So grab the second, I think it's B. Yeah, not that one. The one that's on the bottom. So what you could do is ink blend that whole scene in a lighter color, then ink blend with this stencil with a darker color. And then you don't really see the cactus structure that much. you're just seeing those little details and you just leave that part of the stencil out. So that stencil that you're holding in your right hand can be used by itself over an ink blended background or over cardstock or whatever, and you're not going to see the cactus structure at all.
So do you guys follow that? So you're not using this outline one that has the cactus there, but if you just ink blend this on some kind of background that's already blended, or you go over it after, you will have kind of the, I don't know the word, but you know, the impression of those mountains and stuff. And so it will be a little bit different than having that distinct outline, but then you could even die cut it with the die and
For sure.
cut out your mountain. So that's a great tip for how you could use
absolutely
the stencils without the cactus. Excuse me. So that's why I have people like Lydia on here who are much smarter than me and with these fantastic ideas. I'm going to try that after this because I want to try that. That's really a great idea. Sorry, excuse me. All right, so I love this one. So cool. And then here is what Debbie did with that Heroescape. She combined it with that silhouette die. Well, she made it a silhouette this time. She didn't color it like Lydia did it. And they're off on an adventure into the forest. And then she used that retro message, the journey is better with you. And she turned this into a tri-fold card, which is a little delicate, but it is really cool. So you can open it and open it like that.
My gosh.
Yep. So
overachieving.
Exactly. So good.
Wow.
So, and I love how she ink blended that sun. That's not a, you know, stencil or anything. She just did a little yellow in the center to make that beautiful sun. All right, now we have a stencil, another stencil, not related to the kit stencil. And this one is called Desert Road. And again, this is Lydia driving off into the desert of New Mexico, but a different look than the main kit stencils. You could do some really fun color blocking with this one with all those distinct areas. And here is a card that Debbie made with that one. Just has that really soft, beautiful look to it. And then here is one from Lydia. She combined the stencil with the other stamp set, which I have to remember what that was called, Winding Road.
Winding
How'd you do that background? That's so pretty.
So I did the same thing. I stamped the road that I'm obsessed with. I masked that off. Then I put the stencil down. This is a gorgeous stencil. And I used acrylic sprays through the stencil to give kind of an impressionist look. And then, and I'm sort of answering a question from Caroline about the last card. I am the queen of just using one layer of both layering stamps and layering stencils because you get a totally different look like we were talking about on the last card. So I just use the detail portion of the trees to stamp around the road. And that let that color of the background show through, which is what you would see in nature. So that's how I did that card. And I just think the car with the luggage on top is the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's so cute and it fits so well on that road. Like the perspective is so good. And then I used, I think it's lemonade for the center stripe. So depending on where you are, some people's stripes are yellow, some are white, depending what state you're in.
Yes. I didn't realize it's a state by state thing. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I love how this acrylic spray, which is what Dina Wakely or some other brand of acrylic spray is shiny on there. It's really pretty. Yeah. But you could also, if you guys have heard like Maria Willis on our team talk about DIY sprays she makes them with reactive reinkers or with our watercolors.
The watercolors make great sprays.
Yep. Just put it in the spray bottle with a little bit of water and some of the liquid watercolor. And that would be another way that you could do this. It wouldn't have that same shiny look to it, but it would definitely be a way you could spritz on some water or some color through your stencil. And that could even be pretty through the kit stencils as well. So another way you can color things and ink them up. All right, for this next stamp set, I might need a piece of something behind it so you can see it easier because I don't have this one in packaging. This one is more of an ocean scene. Let me see, what is this one called? This one is called Seaside Highway Heroescape. And this one does not actually have a matching die because the edge of it is just straight. So it doesn't really have a need for dies necessarily, but it does have all these cute little elements like the tree and little dolphin that could be jumping out of the water, another little whale jumping out of the water, some cards. This one has like a scarf. I don't know if you can see that kind of going behind it. Really cute. And then the messages are happy birthday, congratulations. I can't wait to see where you'll go. Another great one for somebody hitting a milestone, like finishing college or retiring or doing all kinds of things. Let the adventure begin. And I'm so glad you're on this journey with me, which is great. I could have made a card with that for my husband. We just had our 24th anniversary this past weekend. I should have made him a card. But, you know, I don't actually make cards for people. Right. That's just crazy. Anyway, yes, inspired by Highway 1 in California. And it's hard to tell from the stamp set what it really comes together. But here is this is Lydia. So this is the card Lydia made with this. And so you can kind of get the idea of how this actually comes together to create that scene. So what'd you do here?
You can tell that this is a California inspired stamp set. I spent every summer in California in my teenage years, and this just like screamed the Big Sur area to me. I love that windy highway, but I decided to incorporate my desert colors from my other cards into that landscape, because there were times when we made that drive when it was very dry in California, and that happens. So I put more of the desert colors into the land part. And then the water is summer sky and indigo, which is just my favorite combo ever. And I added the little birds. The highway is so perfect in charcoal. I did that on all 3 cards I used little roads with. And then I decided to pop up the sun with the circle infinity dies that I've used 85 million times. And the rest is just ink blend. I just masked the horizon and ink blended the sky. But this just like gives me so much nostalgia for those California trips. It just screams California to me.
For sure. I love the ink blending you did on that sky with like the light pinkish color at the horizon, and then the yellow goes up. And for sure, we were just in California, I think I mentioned at the end of June, and we drove along Highway 1. And so it definitely gives me that same vibe. And of course, it has the cute little elements, like you could have a little dolphin out in the water jumping or a whale jumping. And this, somebody asked, this is called Seaside Highway is the name of this one. And it's just so pretty. And here's, so like Lydia mentioned, she used those deserty colors. By the way, I was kind of like surprised in Southern California how close it is to being a desert down there. You know,
for sure.
There's a lot of cactus and everything. And we all know that California has drought problems sometimes, which is terrible, but so they can easily be those colors. But here is one that Debbie did where she did more greens on her land. And then she made it through a little tag. So I love that it's a little scene peeking through her tag. And she embossed the clouds. I forgot to even mention that there's some clouds up there for the sky as well, if you want to use those. So really pretty. And there's some gorgeous samples too. I think Jessica Frost Ballas made a beautiful card with this set, as well as others. Okay, we have one more thing in this release, and it is called Cactus Bold Prints. And I love it. I love these cute little cacti in this one.
So cute.
Stamped solid. So what Debbie did on her card with it is she white embossed it on a beautiful ink blended background. She could have either ink blended first and then did the stamping and embossing, or she may have ink blended over it once she did emboss it, and then you just wipe it off to get rid of any ink that may be sitting on top of your embossing. But you could also use like Zig markers or some kind of water-based markers on the stamp itself and do direct to paper to color that in. You could also stamp it with our contour ink, which is a very light ink, and then use that as a guide for coloring the background if you wanted to. You, of course, could do it in all kinds of different colors. So super cute background. I love it so much. So that is all of everything from the release. I love every single thing, but I say that every month, but it's always true. And we have all these add-ons available as a Get Them All. We're going to keep sometimes the Get Them All will be out of stock this week, which is launch week, but we do add more in. We keep adding them more in until the end of the week. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, you have through the week to get it, but I wouldn't wait too long because, you know, we get tired of adding them sometimes when they keep selling out, but we don't, anyway, long story on that one, but we do keep adding them this week. So if you want to get them all and get every single thing that's available, you can also get them all separately. They're available at our retailers that carry Hero Arts, all the add-ons. But let's just go backwards again through everything in the release. So we have that cute little background, which was called Cactus Bold Prints. We have the Seaside Highway Heroscape, which is Highway 1 inspired in California. We also have, where's my pile here? We have the stencil, which was called Desert Road Stencil. So pretty. These fun samples from Debbie and Lydia with that. And then the other Heroscape in this one, which is the Winding Road Heroscape. And it can be a bundle with the dies, or you can just buy the stamp set by itself. And some examples with that one, combining with other things with the kit and with the die that I shouldn't call Thelma and Louise, but that's what it is. It is actually called On the Road Window. On the Road Window. I need to say the right thing, else you guys will never find it if you go searching for Thelma and Louise. On the Road Window. Then we also have this fun, super, super fun retro signs, which is called Roadside Messages Bundle. And again, you can relive your childhood memories and color it like Howard Johnson's, or you can use the dies in the background as a fun element in the background, like Debbie did there. We also have the road signs bold print, super fun and nostalgic. Love it so much. And while I'm going back with these, make sure you're commenting, because we're going to draw a winner in just a few minutes. And so I want to make sure that you get some comments in so you're in the running for that. Here is this fantastic sample from Lydia with all the fun details of the On the Road Window fancy die. And she used our main kit in the background, which I'll show again in a second. Here's that die, On the Road Window. We have our luggage fancy dies with all the fun luggage, the little tags, and the globe. There's that. And then the super sweet Looking Glass Forest and Mountains. And here's Debbie's card that she made with that one. All right. And then backing back to the main kit itself, which once this sells out, it is gone forever. So grab it while you can, are these fantastic layering stencils that you can combine for a scene or use different parts of them. The cacti, the mountains by themselves. There's a 3x4 stamp set with messages, and the matching dies, and the PearlEx powder, and in cube form, not full size like mine, are these 3 colors of ink: caramel, sand, pine, and tangerine. So super fun kit, and I love this release so much, and I thank you guys for being here. I'm going to pick a winner, so let's see, give you 2 more seconds, get your messages in. Yeah, I'm always enthused, aren't I, Carol? Or no, who said that? That was Barbara Jean. It's switched on me. Oh, and I will go back. Here's some examples of the kit. So you guys need to see some beautiful card samples of that so you can remember why you love it. Because all these different looks you can get with this. Lydia's acrylic paint. And if you joined late and you didn't hear us walk through all these cards and how they were done and see my PearlEx demo, there's a Debbie sample with that gorgeous shimmery PearlEx. You can rewatch this on replay later after the fact. But there's everything with that. Okay, so let me see here who our winner is. And our winner is Karen Rassman. Congratulations, Karen. Thank you for being here today, everybody. And I'm just going to, Lydia, are you ready for me to go back to our faces?
I am ready.
Oh, that's just me. I don't want to be the only one on here. Hold on a second. Exit solo. There she is. All right. So thank you so much for being here with me today, Lydia. It made it more fun to hear how you made your beautiful cards and hear all your great tips and tricks and genius ideas, because you're such an amazing artist. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much. This is one of my favorite themes Hero has ever come out with. So
it calls to our desert loving hearts, right?
Sure.
Lydia and I have a little plan that someday we're going to go live in an artist commune in the desert. So
yep, absolutely. Still on track for that.
Yeah, we'll have to bring our kit and use it all the time out there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for being here today. We enjoy being here with you. So thank you, and grab your goodies before they're gone. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.